So I'm going to come through that screen, grip you around the neck.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Mountain and the Beast.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot cold treatments and everything else. So if anyone out there wants to sponsor Josh, you're more than welcome to hit me up on the contact form on my website, and someone will pick it up and put you in the right direction. But meet Josh, he's now full.
This leaked footage was sent to me by one of the other YouTube channels here, by HG_10SM. Please check his channel out. This footage that I'm showing you is from him, it's not from me, so please support his channel by going to watch his original video, and you'll see the link in the description below. Right, before I go and show you what's going on here, let's have a quick look at the clip that has been leaked.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot cold treatments and everything else. So if anyone out there wants to sponsor Josh, you're more than welcome to hit me up on the contact form on my website, and someone will pick it up and put you in the right direction. But meet Josh, he's now full.
Right, well, the first thing that I noticed, and this is the most common theme throughout this entire sparring session, is that Eddie Hall likes to try to go for the big haymakers. And this is a really common mistake that big guys make. You know, they're used to their size, their physicality, their strength, and it's in their head, almost like ingrained. It's very hard to get out of the habit of going for that one big punch KO. You see it in the ring, you see it in the street fights, no matter what context it is. A lot of the big guys, especially when they have little to no experience of actual fighting, especially fighting in the ring where it is a bit different. You know, a street fight, you can end in one punch. It's almost impossible to end a ring fight in one punch. I mean, if you look at any boxing fight, normally the statistics of punches thrown and landed is, you know, over 100 punches. That's punches that are connected, not punches that are thrown. You're going to miss most of your punches in a proper ring fight. You're going to miss them, right? So really, going for that one big hit is always detrimental in a ring fight. It's highly unlikely you're going to get the KO, and it only messes you up. One of the reasons for this is because you're constantly looking for that one big punch, okay? You're not throwing combinations, and that's what wins fights. Punches in bunches is a very common saying in boxing. So instead of coming in for a big blow, you know, bang, coming in like this for one big blow, really you should be, you know, working, and then come in once their guard's down. Now that's just a small combo, I mean that's just a few jabs, right? But you mix the power. That is how you do damage in boxing. You know, not every punch you throw is a big haymaker. This is only going to gas you out, and that is even more of a reason to not do it as a big guy, going for those big punches, because as a bigger man, wow, your cardio, regardless of how fit you are, you're carrying so much weight, you're going to gas out much quicker than a smaller, lighter man or fitter man, okay? And so going for those one big heavy blows, even though you're throwing maybe 1/5 or 1/10 of the punches you should be throwing, it actually tires you out quicker and much, much more. You know, and tensing your muscles, like I'm doing right now. I mean, it actually hurts after a little while. You only have to ask a bodybuilder when they're tensing up and they're showing the muscles. It actually hurts quite quickly. It hurts, it fatigues, it can cramp you up. And going for these big one-hit KO punches is exactly what happens when you're going for it. You're all tense, and you're tensing your muscles, and you're burning energy even though you're not moving. Not only that, but when you're tense, you don't flow. And this is what we get with Eddie. Like when he throws his jabs, I'm tensing up now. I'm tensing, so I'm not loose. He needs to go on a double-ended speed bag, for example. This will loosen him up. But I'm going to go as stiff as Eddie now. I'm going to tighten my muscles, and I'm looking for that one punch. And you can see, that's my jab.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot up on the contact form on my website, and someone will pick it up and put you in the right direction.
Okay. That's one of those improvisation classes now, isn't it? Loosen off. Okay, I'm looser. And you can see how much easier that punch is, and it actually used, no, I didn't use any energy. I mean, you know, I can keep going and going, and it's not a problem, right? Whereas if I'm like this, you know, it really hits you a lot quicker, a lot harder. It's not good. So this is the first mistake that he's making.
section. But meet Josh, he's now full.
Another thing that happens when you go for the big hit KO haymaker punches is you miss, okay? The punches are slower, as I say, because you're tense, and because you're not opening them up, you're not range finding, you know. We talked about this in the previous video about using your arm to range find, like Thomas Hitman Hearns used to do. He used to put his arm out only every now and then just to test the range, right? When you're throwing your light punches, okay, you are testing the range for then a big haymaker to come in. Because he's so tense and so square on, his reach isn't great anyway. You know, if he was a little bit more loose, you can see my reach is like that when I'm loose, okay? If I'm tense, it's more like that. So instead of throwing one big hit that could either be out of range or be easily evaded because there's nothing sort of, it's cloak and dagger stuff, right? There's no veil in front of it to hide where the punch is coming from. Because he's hanging around and coming in with one big blow, you can kind of see it a lot, even if it's quick, even if it's a good quality punch, right? You're much more likely to see the movement. Because when you're fighting one-on-one with someone, you're constantly looking for potential hits that are coming in. And what most fighters, when they're used to it, will spot a punch before the arm even moves. They'll see the hips begin to twist, they'll see the shoulder engaging, then they'll see the arm coming, okay? And this is just a natural reflex at this point. You'll spot it straight away. So you've already got in your reflex just that split second of moving out of the way before the punch even begins to move. However, if you've thrown a load of punches before coming in with your one big haymaker, it gets a lot harder to spot because most likely you're going to be covering up. Eddie is a big lad. Yes, pound for pound he doesn't hit hard, but he's a big man, so those punches are still coming in with some degree of force.
But meet Josh, he's now full.
Instead of coming in with a big massive hook, Eddie should really try and close the distance. As I say, because he's going up against a tall guy, he doesn't really want to be trading with straights at distance. So he can come in like this, and then come in with the left hook, if that's what his, you know, killer haymaker is.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot coming up on the contact form on my website, and someone will pick it up and put you in the right direction.
Eddie is going for a lot of big heavy jabs. I like this. This is like the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis, one of my favourite boxers of all time. Fantastic fighter. He had a knockout jab. He could knock you out literally with his jab. Very, 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 very powerful puncher. And what an arsenal to have, a knockout jab. It's terrifying, right? And I like that Eddie's trying to do this. It's fantastic. If you've got a strong jab, you are hard to beat. You are a very, very competent fighter. However, what he's doing is, because he's so square on and so tight, as I've already said, you know, he's so square on that he's not getting his hip or his shoulder into the punch. He's literally trying to use the big biceps that he has to generate as much power behind the punch as possible. Speed and technique create power, not muscle. Don't get me wrong, the muscle helps. The muscle can help you go faster, and the muscle adds bulk to what you're throwing at the opponent. So if you use it correctly, muscle's good. But using muscle as an exclusive developer of power, ooh, that is bad shit, man. That is bad shit. And this is what he's doing, because he's so square on. He's throwing the jab like this, and even though he's trying, there is no real power there. That punch is a weak punch for a light man, because Eddie's body weight is not being used. The fact he weighs whatever it is at the moment, I know as big as he was 170 kilos, I think he's around 140, isn't he, at the moment? 140 kilos behind the punch is a knockout punch, but he's not using advantage of his body weight, okay? Instead, what he should be doing is using the hip and the shoulder together. The power of the punch comes from the bottom up. So you need to make sure your footwork's in position, your knees are nice and flexible, so you can bring your knees and your leg power into the punch. Then you've got your hips, then you've got the shoulder. The most important parts are the bottom up. As you go more and more up towards the fist, it becomes useless. Literally, the arm in boxing, you should just see it as a connector between the fist and the shoulder. You do not want to be using your arms. One, they're small muscle groups, they tire out quickly. And two, they're just not that strong. Okay, they don't generate a lot of power. Compared to your legs, compared to your core and your abs, your hips, your shoulder, the arm is useless. So instead, what you want to be doing is sort of, you can see how I'm bending into the punch like this, yeah? That engages my legs, the hip will come with the twist, and you can see how that kind of generates a lot more power than what Eddie's doing. Now, because Eddie is, you know, square on, and because he's tight, this not only hampers his attack and offensive capacity, but it also hampers his defensive ability also, okay? The reason for this is he's presenting a nice big target for his opponent.
Josh, yeah, you're more than...
He does cover up to a degree now. Fair enough, his defense has improved a little bit since the last video I shared.
Form on my website, and someone will pick it.
Anything he's doing right, he's ruining with that elbow, okay?
Josh, yeah, you're more than form on my website, and someone will pick it.
I discussed in the previous video. So when the guy's punching, he wants to try and deflect for some reason the punches with his elbow. He keeps his arm out and he's using the elbow to try and get in the way of the punch. Terrible. Use your shoulder. I've covered this before. Use your shoulder, use your backhand to cover yourself, and use your body to defend yourself. Even if you get clipped, say the right hand is coming over here, if it clips my shoulder and I'm kind of rolling with the punch, what's going to happen is the punch may clip me, but it will, a lot of the force will kind of go outwards. It will just slide past me. So it's not going to do a lot of damage.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot cold treatments and everything else. So if anyone out there wants to spot me up on the contact form.
And again, this is a common mistake made by inexperienced fighters, and especially again by big guys. Eddie's fighting very stereotypically for his, you know, sort of presentation, if you wish. And that is, after he does make, occasionally, he makes the occasional good hit.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot.
Great, you know, the fact he's not throwing many punches, the fact he's clipping every now and then, fantastic. But when he does, he likes to stand back and admire the punch.
Spars in the gyms and go and do his hot up on the contact form.
Is instead of, you know, standing back and admiring the punch fight, you want to capitalise on the fact that you've made a strike, that it will stun and it will hurt. Even if your opponent's not showing the pain, trust me, they felt the punch. So what you're doing is you're following the punch up, you're closing the distance down. You make that hit and you come in, whatever you're doing, you come in and you finish the opponent, or you know, you keep the pressure on them until they've covered up or until they retaliate, and what you do then, you just move away. Now Eddie seems to be fighting in the manner of a counter fighter, okay? So we see this in his previous video where he's practicing with his sparring partner, the smaller guy, okay? Where he's moving his head and then coming back with a jab. This is a great style. It's one of my favourite styles of fighting that is employed in boxing. It takes great technical proficiency, it takes great speed and precision, and it takes balls as well, because in essence, you're allowing yourself to potentially get hit. One of the best counter fighters of all time, of course everybody knows, Muhammad Ali. There are a number of them, but he was perhaps the most charismatic, so they say, the most obvious in his employing those sort of techniques. He wasn't exclusively a counter fighter, but it was a big part of his offense and defense. And so really, Eddie is trying to fight like a counter fighter. He wants to stand back and he wants to hit after the opponent's miss. So he wants to make a miss and he wants to take him down with a counter punch. Hence why he's trying to do so many jabs, hence why he's trying to be fancy with keeping his hands down and moving around at a distance. But the problem is, Eddie is too tight, as we've said before, he's too square on, and on top of that, he's too slow, and he's not precise enough in his punches. Counter fighting is not what Eddie should be doing. It's not what he's good at, okay? And it's not great to do counter fighting against a taller opponent, because as I say, they have the advantage. Counter fighting really requires you to fight at range. It's true boxing, okay? There's no brawling in it. It's true boxing with your light on your feet, you're dancing around the opponent and bang, you're picking come off, and then you see another opportunity, you come in, and you finish your opponent with very scalpel-like strikes. Now Eddie, and this is the good bit about Eddie, is he has that natural temperament, that natural mindset to be a ruler. It's certainly how he presents himself anyway, and it's how his body type kind of works. He wants to really, should be, wanting to use his brute physicality. Now Hafthor's a big guy, he's muscular, he's not as muscle set as Eddie. Eddie is a monster, okay? And he should be wanting to use that monsterness. It's not a word really, is it? But it's the only way I can describe it. Well, he's a beast, hence why he's called the beast. He should be using that to bully for on the inside, okay? Or at least at medium to short, and then short range, okay? So he should be trying to do infighting, but if he can't quite get there, at least from a closer range and full length engagements, he should be trying, as I say, to bully, okay? He should be aggressive. And this is what he tries to do anyway, but to be aggressive, one, you need to have your defenses up, and also you need to be aware that you're going to get punched. You have to accept you're going to get punched. If you're going to be an aggressive fighter, you're chasing your opponent, you have to accept you're going to get hit. But it's the trade-off. You're going to get hit, but when you go in there, you need to make sure you do damage. And to do that, you need to do a lot of big body hooks, body uppercuts, then the short range hooks, all this kind of stuff. You need to do it as a combination, okay? Now, Eddie could be so dangerous as this kind of fighter. The brawler. He's not a boxer. He has to admit this. He's neither light on his feet, nor does he have ringcraft or knowledge of the ring. We can see this. His defense is poor. He's not fast enough. But my God, he could be a great infighter if he learned these skills. 5 months before the fight, I don't think he's got anywhere near enough time, and he's not really working towards this either. So I don't think he's going to be able to make that, but this is where he needs to go. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back again with another video very soon. Thank you to HG_10SM for sharing this footage with me. Hope you don't mind me using it to construct this new video. Fantastic. I'll see you guys very soon with more content. Goodbye for now.